2020 has been a wild ride. From a global pandemic to riots sweeping the nation, and now we have seen in live time the creation of a brand new autonomous zone within America's own borders, called CHAZ, or CHOP for short, which stands for the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone or the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest. But what is this new area and what does it stand for? This autonomous zone was taken by Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters in response to the anti-police movement sweeping America, with protesters taking over 6 blocks of downtown Seattle, including the East Precinct of the Seattle Police Department. Protesters then overtook the police department, ultimately pushing them out of the area, declaring it a cop-free zone and naming it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. The citizens share that this is an autonomous territory outside of the US and have attempted to create their own socialist utopia, complete with free food, clothes, a farm, and most importantly, no police. But what is life like inside of this zone and how has this week-long experiment played out? Let's take a look. The area has been occupied since last Monday, June 8th, and one of the first things citizens did was construct a border out of police barricades in an attempt to keep their new zone safe. They also have guards who patrol the streets at night to ensure that the community is safe.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, pardon me, folks.
What is the characters?
Well, I go by Red Ranger. This is Spirit Fox, just in service. We're the Seattle superheroes. We patrol around, keep people safe, that kind of thing.
Hey, keep Seattle safe.
We love you back. You guys stay safe tonight, okay?
Once you get past the border, you are free to take whatever food is available in the No Cop Op. A small setup with donated food items sharing that kindness is their currency and they accept absolutely no monetary donations of any kind. In an attempt to keep people fed, clothed, and hydrated, they have resorted to asking for outside donations of various items, such as tents, tables, and toothbrushes. To help ensure the continued cycle of food, citizens have also started their own farm. And to ensure ultimate inclusivity, they even have segregated gardens, specific for Black and Indigenous people and their plant allies. Seems like they're doing well, but keep in mind, this area is not completely autonomous from the US. After all, they are still using electricity and water provided by the city of Seattle. And they also unfortunately have not been able to handle dangerous situations very well. For example, a dumpster fire was started within the community, and CHAZ members called the local fire department to come and put it out. Another member of the community OD'd on drugs, and the Seattle Fire Department was called yet again to come take care of the situation. But what about crimes committed within the zone? Apparently, theft is a big issue in CHAZ, with one citizen learning the hard way that simply zipping up one's tent is not sufficient protection against theft. He shared on Reddit that he went for a walk and all of his valuables were stolen, including his MacBook, money, and an entire week of supplies, leaving him in complete shock that anyone would steal valuable items from a zipped-up tent. Another person in CHAZ was robbed in broad daylight and due to the lack of police, received no help.
I just had my keys broken, stolen, got jumped, had my phone stolen, and these let it all happen. What the Stay the away from me, everyone! Y'all need police around this bitch if you're me! You're alright, man. It's just a bad day. Really? Give me my keys back then!
Also, early this morning, a locally owned auto shop was broken into. The owner's property was stolen and a fire was started, but again, this cop-free zone left this business owner SOL.
Did you try to call the police or the fire department and they wouldn't show up?
I did call them.
Really? You
Yes.
called them?
Yes.
And they just,
Multiple times.
did they say we're not going to show up or?
Well, at first they made it sound like they were going to show up, and then by the time I probably called them the 10th or 8th time, 8th, 10th, 11th, I don't know what number it was,
Yeah.
they basically told me they weren't going to come up
Okay. Did they say why or were?
because of all of this.
There is some sense of authority within CHAZ, however, and he goes by the name of Raz Simone, a man some have declared the warlord of CHAZ. In its early beginnings, Raz, the most intimidating and heavily armed member of the community, declared that he would police the area, beating up a fellow Chazian for spray painting a wall and using guns to assert his authority. In this video, he can be seen chasing down the auto shop thief and trying to hold him responsible for his crimes.
You're the one who holds the cup. What's going on?
They held the gun at me and they were saying that I stole.
Unfortunately, one man and his crew couldn't keep the thief down and he ultimately got away. While many are glorifying the CHAZ or CHOP zone for declaring this area their new socialist utopia, how are the citizens that lived in Capitol Hill before it was taken over feeling about this entire situation? Well, let's hear from a resident who was brave enough to speak out.
I said this is personal because this is my home and I don't have cops anymore and I have people throwing grenades in front of me and you're telling me to just Google something the governor said a few days ago. Like, it's just hard because like my own government that I've like supported and elected, and I'm calling them, telling them what's going on and they don't care. I don't think that the national media is portraying the situation accurately. Because after Monday, when I realized the governor didn't care, I called everyone in city council, no one would answer. I called the mayor, no one would answer. I couldn't leave voicemails, so I started emailing them. No emails back, the voicemail boxes are closed. I just started panicking.
The mayor of Seattle has spoken out and shared that CHAZ is just a block party type atmosphere that could turn into the summer of love. But it seems that the citizens of Seattle and the business owners directly experiencing this feel quite differently. The nation is also patiently watching to see how this communist experiment will work out, but based off of how things are going now, it seems that by the end of this, many citizens will understand the importance of the police and the dangers of a socialist country. This has been Savannah Hernandez for Action 7 News.